Thanks everyone for coming. This is the fifth meetup we've had. Thanks to Informatica for sponsoring, providing the food and the drinks, and thanks to Rackspace. I don't think there's anyone from Rackspace here, but thanks to them for providing their office. So I think I know a lot of you, but my name's David Hecht, and my company's Cloudian. I'm the organizer, and I do Salesforce implementations for startups. And I have a couple of apps on the App Exchange, or one on the App Exchange. It's a credit card processing app, and I have a Google Analytics tracking app as well that's coming out. And so thank you all. We're going to do another event, I think probably first week of December. So try to do it every other month. And thanks for coming. So I'd like to, without further ado, I'm going to introduce, we're going to have two half-an-hour demos. We've got Informatica and also a new startup called eQuire. So stick around for both of those. Without further ado, this is Ashwin from Informatica.
Thanks, David. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashwin, and I work for Informatica Cloud. So we're basically the cloud business unit of the overall Informatica Corporation. Now, I basically do product marketing for Informatica Cloud, but I promise you not to pepper you with too much marketing stuff. We're going to get into the demo as soon as possible. So, first of all, just before I start, just to get a sense for the audience, how many of you guys are Force.com developers? Okay. How many of you guys are strictly focused on integration and ETL and those kinds of developers? Okay. All right. And how many of you guys are consultants? Okay. Great. So essentially, a lot of us. Salesforce ecosystem is great, the Force.com platform is great, but the apps that you build on Force need to connect with other databases, other flat files, other on-premise systems, and other cloud systems outside of Force.com. And the expertise typically needed to perform these integrations have always been very, very complex, which is why we want to show how easy it would be with a cloud-based integration solution that has a very similar UI to what you're used to with using an application like Salesforce. So basically your aim is you want obviously a lot of people using your app. You don't want the absence of data or the absence of data synchronization to be a factor. So first, you need to populate your app with data. Once you finish loading all your data into that particular app and populate, you want to make sure your data is actually clean and there's appropriate data quality rules built in. Because if you're integrating dirty data, then essentially that data is unusable. Once you do that, you want to make sure that what other systems it connects to, there's appropriate synchronization rules in place. And you're able to synchronize various account objects perhaps, or contacts, or any other objects within the Force.com API with the relevant systems that you want to synchronize it with. And finally, there's replication. So let's say you want to learn more about the customers that use your app, or your customers want some more analytics. They'll probably want to replicate that Salesforce data or the data from your native Force.com app into a database and perform more analytics. So essentially, think of Informatica Cloud as the engine that helps you perform all these four things so that you can ensure maximum adoption of the app that you've created. So typical challenges that you see around Salesforce automation and analytics, the number one is just too many data sources. And because of that, performing any sort of analytics is a pain. The second is ad hoc reporting. And how many of us have worked in companies where you have executives that say they want to know what's going on in this particular line of business, they want to know what's going on in the other division, and they want to know it now. But it's impossible to just get that data right then and right there without performing the appropriate integration workflows and doing the analytics and then presenting it to them. And thirdly, for historical data and trending. So these same executives, they want to know if they hit their KPIs, they want to know how they did in the previous quarters, and they want to make sure that there's enough business intelligence performed on your Salesforce data or your Force.com app, and then integrate that with other sources so they know operationally where they stand. And finally, it's the access times for the data. Typically, a lot of data is stored in multiple systems, and extracting them can take a lot of time. So these are the main challenges if you want to get any sort of analytics done with your data. So this is just a typical BI architecture. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. So what I'm actually going to be demoing today are cloud integration templates from Informatica Cloud. So think about templates as use cases. So let's say you need to perform a specific use case. You need to dedupe your leads. You need to perform aggregations, or you need to perform merging of data, or account extraction. So these are specific processes that you can help your end users perform through cloud integration templates. So, as I promised, I won't speak too much around marketing spiel. I'm going to get right into the demo. So let's go ahead to it. So essentially, Informatica Cloud is a cloud-based app. So you basically go to informaticacloud.com and you would log in. Once you log in, you'll be presented with a screen like this. And underneath that, you'll see all the different data integration services that we have. There's a synchronization service, there's the replication service, there's a data assessment service that basically tells you the goodness of your data, does an assessment for you. And there's another data quality service here called the contact validation service. And we recently acquired another company called Data Scout, which offers Cloud MDM. So under the Data Services tab, you'll see the various tasks that you can perform for data synchronization, contact validation, data assessment, data replication, and whatnot. Under configuration, it just shows you all the connectors and the connections that you would have. So let's say I want to schedule my data, I want to perform some task flows, other plugins, I can kind of store all of that here. And administration basically gives me a variety of different administrator features. So let's see how I would use one of these integration templates. So what I'm going to show you today is a Salesforce aggregation template. So the typical use case is, let's say I have a whole bunch of opportunities here in my Salesforce account. And I want to make sure that I want to focus on those accounts that have opportunities that are greater than a certain amount. Let's say I want to zero in on all the opportunities that are greater than $100,000. This is an example. And I want to perform some sort of analytics on that. Now this is a pretty simple use case. You can do a lot more complex stuff, but just for demo purposes, I'm showing you a pretty simple use case. So if I want to do that, this is where you can use Informatica Cloud's integration templates to perform aggregation. So how would I go about doing that? So under Informatica Cloud, you go under configuration and then click on the integration templates tab. And typically you would hit new if you don't have anything there yet. You give it an easy to remember name, whatever it is. And then there's an XML file that you would upload. Now where did I get that XML file from? Well, that's where I'll show you the Informatica Marketplace. So there's a whole bunch of free templates that you can actually download from here. So just go do a Google search Informatica Marketplace, and under malls, just go under Cloud Templates. And the particular template that I'm going to demo is going to be Salesforce Aggregator template. So that's this particular one. And you can actually view all our cloud templates. So you were to click on this particular button, if you're looking for free stuff, just click on free. And if you want stuff that's sold by Informatica, just click on that. And you can basically view all our other templates. So anyways, so back to the Salesforce aggregation template. So essentially, once you pick out the template that you want, you would go ahead and download that. So click on the listing. And then go ahead and click on free download. And then you just have to create an account and whatnot, and then it'll allow you to download it. So once you do download that, you'll have an XML file, and you would upload that XML file in here. And you go ahead and upload that. So once you do that, you'll be presented with something like this, and I'll take you through the steps. So the button I just clicked there is the Edit Integration Template. And once you upload the template, you'll be presented with all these various parameters. And these are the parameters that you can configure. And once you configure these parameters, your end user will then be able to run a variety of different integration tasks based on these parameters. So let me explain what's going on here. So first, you have a Salesforce object. And within that Salesforce object, you're basically ensuring that it is hard-coded to Salesforce. And it's going to display first in the integration task flow. So when the user goes through the custom integration task flow, which I will show later on, they'll be presented with this. Then you go ahead and they would enter the target. And in this case, we've left it as all connection types. So as you can see, it can be flat file, relational database, FTP, Salesforce, SAP, web services, a whole bunch of things there. So after the user has been able to select their source and their target, now there has to be some sort of filter condition on the source. So remember, the problem we're trying to solve here is we have a whole bunch of opportunities, and we want to select those accounts that have revenue above a certain amount. So let's say if you are the template integration developer, you would think, okay, I need to add a source filter here, and I need to put a condition. So you make sure that the control type is a condition here. And after that, there's a group by field. So what the group by field does is, it selects a field to group everything by. So in this case, it could be accounts, or maybe regions, or any other field that the end user would want. And then, since this is the Salesforce aggregation template, the final thing you'd want to do is you'd want to put together an aggregation field mapping. So this is going to be displayed at the very end. And what you'll see here is, and you'll see this once I run the custom integration task flow, you'll see the respective Salesforce object on the left side of the bar, and you will see on the right-hand side, it could be either the flat file or database or any other connection. And in this particular demo, I'm going to show a flat file. And then you go ahead and basically label those things. So once you do that, you would then save your template, and then your end user would typically be perhaps a Salesforce administrator or a consultant hired to do the integration and process it. And what they would do is, they'd go under Data Services, and they would go under the Custom Integration tab here. And then they would click New, and they'd go ahead and give it an easy to remember name, and then to select the respective secure agent. And the secure agent, basically, think of it as a coordinator in a symphony orchestra, telling the data where to go between source and target. And you can generally, if let's say I had a whole bunch of templates, I could easily hit search and the respective ones would pop up. And I would select that particular template at that point in time. So anyways, I already have a pre-built task, so let me show you how I did that. So once again, this is the edit icon here. And there's various different icons. I can copy this integration task if I want and modify it. So that way there's the reusable component of this. This is the run button if I want to run this now. I can delete this task if I no longer like it. And then there's download the actual XML if I want to make changes to it. And there's other permission levels and other granular controls you can do. But let me take you through the various steps with this custom integration task. I'm going to show you how that relates to what I just showed you with regards to display parameters. Now, I'm going to give it an easy to remember name, and I've selected the Salesforce aggregation template. Now, remember the parameter where you're able to select the source and you hard code Salesforce. So the reason we did that is so that the end user now would go and select Salesforce as a connection. So essentially, I've already selected it here, but if they didn't have a connection, they would hit new, and they'd give an easy to remember name, and then they would select Salesforce there. And then I want to select the opportunity object so that it corresponds with everything here. And once I do that, I have a preview of all the data there. And the next thing, if you remember, within the configuring of the parameters was the target. So now the target here is going to be a flat file, and I've called it ops.csv. So that would be this file here. So it's presently empty. And there's just two columns, account name and amount. And here's where you basically configure your group by and filter conditions. So remember, there was a field where we had a group by field, we had a source filter, and we had the aggregation field map. So this is where you would enter what you want to filter by. So we want to filter the amount. We want all the opportunities that are greater than, in this case, over $100,000. So I would basically filter only the opportunities that are greater than $100,000. And the group by is name. So I want to group all the names of these accounts, and I'm going to get all the account names in one column and the revenue amounts in the other column. Then this is the aggregation field map. So I can either click on auto match and have the system do it for me, or I can manually drag and drop between source and between target. So in this case, I already mapped the name field within opportunity to the account name column that I just showed you in the flat file. And there's a variety of different fields here as well. All this. Now, let's look at what's going on in this function. So I can edit this if I want to, and as you can see, there's a big category of functions here, from character conversion, data cleansing, whatever else. And here, what I'm doing is I'm summing the total amount of opportunities. So let's say you're Acme Inc., and your sales rep has 3 opportunities with you. One is for $20,000, another one is for $200,000, and the last one is also for $200,000. So what this template will do is it won't count the one for $20,000. It'll count the 2 other opportunities that are $200,000 each and sum them up. And what you will see in the net result in the flat file is Acme Inc. with $400,000 worth of opportunities that are above the $100,000 level. So that's what an aggregation does. So let's go ahead and, so basically after you do that, go ahead and save this. And now we're going to run this task. So let's wait for it to execute. Still running in the background.
How do you know it's running in the background?
Because I still have, well, no, because this didn't pop up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, once it finishes running, it'll say there's success, or it'll say, failure with error rows. So for example, you'll see a couple of integrations here where it gave you warning, or it'll completely fail, like this, for instance. So now let's go ahead and open the file. So it was empty at first, and now you can see all these opportunities from Salesforce over here. Burlington Textiles, Dickinson Mobile, whatever else. And you can see all the amounts of opportunities that they have greater than $100,000. So this is essentially what this particular template would do. So like that, there's numerous other templates. If you go on the Informatica Marketplace, go ahead, play around with it, and just to continue on. So what you want to do is, if you want to go ahead and take a free 30-day trial, go to informaticacloud.com, and you'll see a 30-day free trial here. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll have access to our entire suite of data integration services. So templates, the data replication service, contact validation, the whole thing. And here's some more resources. So we also have a free data loader, and I'm just going to go back into the demo and show you how you'd want to kick that off. So if you only want to do free data loading and you're not interested in, let's say, the other services, you go to informaticacloud.com/free data loader and then click on Get It Now, and you can load unlimited amounts of data between Salesforce and a flat file or a database. And you have scheduling capabilities and whatnot. And then there's also our developer site. So this is our developer community. So go to informaticacloud.com/developer, and you'll see a whole bunch of categories, and you can where you can learn about integration templates. And we also have an integration platform as a service called a Cloud Connectivity Toolkit, which I won't have time to go into. Our REST API as well, and Google BigQuery. So if you want to learn more about templates, you can go ahead and contact me. Just like I said, I'm a marketing guy, so if it gets too technical, I'll connect you with our technical product managers for that. If you want to load data for free, you can contact Vivian, my colleague here. And if you want to learn about paid editions, Jorge is right back there, so that's Jorge in the back. So you can go talk with him. And any questions in the meantime, before I just go and show you the data loader stuff? Sure.
Which API are you using when you hook up to Salesforce?
So we're utilizing their SOAP API there.
Okay.
So that's basically under, once you set up your secure agent and whatnot, it'll take you through the steps on how to do that.
Okay.
Do you have an option of choosing SOAP or REST, the bulk API?
We have, sorry?
We do have that.
We have bulk API that you can use. Yes?
You showed us how you went against the opportunity object.
Yep.
Do you have the capability to join multiple, like go after multiple objects at the same time?
So you're talking about like a merge?
Like a join?
Yeah, so
Or
there's
inner
a,
join, outer join?
so there's a, yeah, so there's a joiner that we can do. So,
To follow up with that, when you were talking about the free data loader,
Yep.
can you join tables in that?
No, the free data loader is obviously has limited
Just one
capabilities
object.
because it's free, so the functionality is going to be limited. So yeah, for more of these powerful capabilities, it would obviously have to be a paid edition.
But short answer is yes, inner join, outer join, we can handle it, no problem.
Is there a speed difference between the paid edition and the free data loader?
There's no speed. You mean the
The
speed of
processing
performing?
speed and all that?
There's no difference in that. It's just the functionality.
Can you give us a sense on the pricing for the cloud version?
Sure. So you'd essentially go to informaticacloud.com, products and services, editions and pricing. And this is list pricing. So the data loader is free. We go into cloud integration. So these are various editions that are paid, starting at $1,000 a month. And that's for data integration. And if you want MDM as well, cloud MDM, those are MDM editions.
Okay.
And our MDM app, by the way, is a native force.com app. Any other questions? I just want to show you the data loader part as well.
What's MDM?
Master data management. So think of it more like data quality. Let's say you have duplicate leads, incorrect state codes, incorrect phone number formats, things like that. So if you have dirty data and you integrate it, your net result is a dirty result that users can't really use. So before you do data integration, we always recommend running it through some data quality rules. And then once you cleanse that data and get rid of the dedupes and whatnot, then go ahead and perform the data integration between all your data sources.
Does Informatica, is it like can it do like brokering between two different external systems as well? Like integrating, I mean, you showed us how you would get that report on your own machine, but like, I guess, integrating to other systems?
Yeah, we can integrate with anything that has a web services endpoint.
Anything that has a web service, so custom systems are
Yeah.
open as well?
And that's what I wanted to also show you how you can build your own connectors.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Right. Cool. So yeah, I guess if you guys were interested in the free data loader edition, you would basically sign up through the link I showed you, and then once you sign up, you would go under the data synchronization tab instead, as opposed to the custom integration tab. Then you'd go ahead and click on new, and then it's a very similar workflow to what I showed in the custom integration task, except your one endpoint would be Salesforce, and the other endpoint you would be limited to either a flat file or a database. So you can't do app to app with the free edition. If you want to do app to app, you would have to go to one of our paid editions. Okay. So if no other questions, thank you very much, and I'll be around if you want to talk later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So next we have